Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Gordon Maston, and welcome to another edition of my Monday Night Raw review for June the 6th, 2016. And tonight's show, I've seen some people call it average. I've seen some people call it like decent. I've seen some people say it was uneventful. For me and my co-host Caleb here, who's been here for a couple of reviews with me, if you guys don't already know, and he'll, explain this to you in a second. Like, last week was just uneventful, and the show only did something for one guy, that being AJ. This week, the show is, like, uneventful, and it was, I don't even know how to explain this. I just mean, like, when it comes to Money in the Bank, the pay-per-view, the best way for me to say this is they don't know how to book guys leading up to Money in the Bank. They don't know how to book the situation. This is why it was a great match concept that was used for WrestleMania. And the gimmicky pay-per-views, and I've recently realized this, need to go away. But you know what? We'll get into that in a second. I just want to introduce Caleb here and let him say what's up.
What's up, guys? I'm sure you guys remember me from my my many appearances on the show before, which I think was 3 we agreed upon. So, yeah, you could say I'm a frequent flyer by this point. But what's up, guys? Looking forward to reviewing. Jeez, my God. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. right now, so I'm pretty tired. I'm not feeling too articulate, so this should be fun. I'm bitter. I'm tired. Non-articulate. I think that's...
You can say that now, but you called this an addiction, and I honestly believe once we get into talking about some of this stuff, it's just gonna hit you, and something's gonna click in your brain, either piss you off, like heat you up, or
exactly. That's what I mean. I'm gonna come across as jaded, and I'm gonna come across as bitter, and I don't want to do that. I was telling Gordon that I didn't want to review tonight because, like, I don't know, I'm just at such a low point as a fan. Like, I'm so burned out. I'm so bummed out at this point. Like, I just knew I'd come across as bitter and jaded, and that's not, like, what I mean. Like, obviously, everyone that's watching this, you got into wrestling because you enjoy it, you love it, and like I said, it was an addiction. It really is. It's an addiction, and it was an addiction that for so long. I'm getting so dramatic here and poetic about men play fighting in their underwear, whatever. But it's an addiction that's worth having, which is kind of a oxymoron there. But it was, and like I enjoyed having it. Now it's an addiction that is like a nuisance for me. You know what I mean? I've watched it for so long that I can't I can't move away from it. What'd you say?
You can't kick it.
Exactly, I can't kick it, and there was a point where I didn't want to, you know what I mean? But now it's like I wish I could because I don't enjoy watching it anymore. But yeah,
Dude, it's just everything. It's just the way they do things. We as fans have our own certain ways that we'd like them to go about things, and it's not like, oh, make this guy champion and I'll be happy. Bring Nakamura up night 1, make him champion night 1, and I'll be happy. It's not like that. It's like things that are within the realm of reason, like that are like legitimately within the realm of reason. We're not asking, come on, make Sami Zayn world champion, make Kevin Owens world champion right now. It's things that are like within the legitimate realm of reason.
yeah, no, exactly. It's not like obviously no one's expecting these guys to go in and be champion right away. But people are expecting them to be utilized in the right way and utilized to the best of their abilities, or even just utilized the way they were utilized in the independent scene, or wherever they came from, in a way that worked. And I mean, I know obviously for WWE you're appealing to obviously a much larger scale audience with more mainstream appeal, whatever mainstream appeal means. But I guess WWE, what it means is dumbing things down so it can be understood by the lowest common denominator, whoever's watching, the little kids, whoever,
I don't want to drag this, man, but like what it basically feels like is Vince is like, we have to keep people, like we can't do, like he's probably telling Triple H, we can't do like your long scale, promos that are from the independents telling life stories, because what that'll do to people is put them in front of their phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he assumes that WWE, or the average WWE fan, which I suppose is true to a certain extent, obviously for the casual fans, that they do not have a long attention span at all. You know what I mean? That they're there to watch,
fighting.
People. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse or say, oh, they're there to watch John Cena win, but what I mean? They're there to watch wrestling, and WWE is a company that is so obsessed with either bringing people back, old viewers back, nostalgic viewers, bringing them back, or appealing to.
Caleb.
In a casual audience. What'd you say?
Oh wait, no, you cut out there for 1 second. I just heard the last part of the casual audience part, but I'm pretty sure I knew you were going there with the whole. Basically, they're there to appeal to their one audience, and they're not going to basically stretch their necks out for us.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of how we have to take it.
They have this obsession with just appealing to a mainstream audience. For whatever reason. I mean, obviously, I guess that's where the money lies. And I mean, they got to know too that. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to filibuster this whole review with a diatribe about why I'm not a fan of wrestling or as much as a fan. But I mean, I think they got to know too. Obviously, that the loyal fans, regardless of. Speaking of a long drawn out promo here, where you're looking at your phone, look at you. I'm cutting a promo right here. You're checking your phone. You're getting bored, dude.
These are notes, dude.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, they got to know that, these dedicated fans, they're not going to stop tuning in anytime. I mean, they throw us a bone every so often, and it keeps us engaged. I mean, there will be, I'm not going to say saving grace, but they will throw you a bone as a hardcore fan, dedicated fan. Every once in a while, that keeps you hooked and makes it easier to justify tuning in week to week, despite being pissed on by them every week. But yeah, dude, I could keep going.
I can see where you're going from there, man. But
I'm sure everyone would love that. He said sarcastically, but no. But yeah, we could go for hours about this, but let's just not.
And before we get into this, and I really hate to even just put this here, but you know what? I know for one thing, I try and keep active during the show, and whenever I do, I get a pretty solid response on Twitter. Like for tonight, for example, I was talking about the whole Jack Swagger thing, where it's like, why did they go out of their way to just protect Jack Swagger? I don't care if it's his hometown. I don't care about the situation. They'll have people in their hometown. Zack Ryder will flat out lose in his hometown, and people. What does it matter if Swagger loses? Swagger should have been tapped out by the accolade or super kicked. And yeah, but we'll get to that when we get to that. That's just an example that I used, and I did get a pretty good response.
That boils down to too, Swagger being one of Vince's guys, and it was his hometown. You know what I mean? I know you just said Ryder lost in his hometown, but
not even just Ryder. There'll be it seems like the little rule in WWE is if you are performing in your hometown tonight, you're losing.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just think it's different for Swagger because he was a world champion at one point, and I feel like despite how much he's fallen from grace or how far down the card he has fallen,
he's just lost in the shuffle, dude.
No, but that world title is almost assurance that you're not gonna.
Listen, man, if it didn't happen 6 months ago, it didn't happen at all.
Yes and no. Yeah, they do have selective continuity, but I'm saying, they're almost making a mockery of themselves, and the prestige of their title. If they go out there and they have a former champion, but and on the same token, if him losing to Rusev, who is proven to be a credible opponent, and I guess way more credible. Honestly, it obviously looked more credible than Jack Swagger ever has in his entire career. Rusev could have easily won clean tonight, but I think they wanted to work the Titus involvement in somehow. I think they obviously we're not going to go even try to go creative route with that. That story is just on the. It's
just get it over with now.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll get to the opening segment here. But I was just wondering, before we do, are you interactive on Twitter? Like, whether it's before you watch, like, because you watch late sometimes. But are you interactive on Twitter when it comes to like why would they do this? Why not? Blah blah blah.
What do you mean interact? Like you mean my?
I mean, are you tweeting about the show while it's going on or whatever? Or
Nah,
whenever?
I don't tweet much nowadays.
Are you just on Reddit, just
I,
stalking through things?
yeah, just scrolling through, not really commenting. That's kind of what I do on Reddit. I'll go to the live. When I watch live, I'll go to the live discussion. The past few weeks, since school ended, I've been watching later because I've been doing stuff or whatnot. Yeah, I do have a social life, guys. I know, crazy, hard to believe. It's the backwards hat. It really is. That's what does it. That's what seals the deal. It creates a false image for myself. But no. But so I'll go through the live discussion of that, and I'll post stuff and I'll respond, but not much on Twitter. Occasionally, you know, if they say a hashtag is going, I'll check to verify that because no matter, you know, every time it's true.
The number one trend in the world.
I had a hard time
It's
believing
the people.
Teddy Long was the number one trend in the world today. So it's good to check that every once in a while. But yeah, other than that, I'm one of those pretentious Reddit snobs that will.
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. Like Teddy Long was the number one trend in the world. Like you say it like it's an insult, man. Teddy Long is the man, dude.
I love Teddy. In the big suit too. That made me so happy.
Right, dude.
I don't know what the point of that was. I think it was because they were trying to make him look like he was a little retarded. And pardon my language there. You're not allowed to say
It's all good.
retarded anymore. But no, I think that's because they were trying to make him look stupid, I guess. But I did love Teddy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a Reddit elitist for wrestling. Not at all. I hate that. Dude, Reddit is. I'm gonna openly bash them. I shouldn't, but you know, it's really a toxic community on there. It is. There's one, I guess, communal opinion, and if you don't conform to what the group bias is on there, then you get ripped to fucking shreds. But you know what, dude? I'm even bitter about the internet platforms in which that I talk about wrestling on. That's to the extent of how bitter I am about wrestling as a whole. Let's just talk about the show, bro. We should just move on.
Well, the opening segment here was the whole Money in the Bank ladder match thing, and it was basically You know what? I'm basically going into your field here when I say I'm sick of opening segments opening the show, but I'm preaching to the choir here. And this was, to me, pointless. Everybody knows the Money in the Bank match is coming up, and everybody knows that, you know, the guys that are in it. What everybody doesn't know, I'm pretty sure, is that there were supposed to be 7 guys in it, and WWE's like, no, we're just gonna make 6 because we can't think of a 7th guy. But he's supposed to be returning to live events this week.
That's what he was coming back today on the Observer, and then I guess that didn't pan out. Maybe because he leaked it. They decided to change that up. But I thought, especially when they were having Ambrose climb the ladder, I thought, all right, well, he's for sure coming out now. I thought Ambrose was going to reach the top of the ladder. This is later on in the show. I'm sorry I'm jumping on this, but I thought for sure he would come out then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like they are hell-bent on keeping him heel now, especially with, you know what I mean, them kind of trying to keep Roman as the only face that, you know, has a chance of having that mainstream of popularity and appeal, which I think Bray Wyatt really could have as a face. But I mean, it's a discussion for another time. And then, when Kevin Owens comes and throws Dean Ambrose off, I'm like, oh, maybe they are sticking with Wyatt as a face, and they'll have him come out here, or, you know, not even as a face, but some ambiguity in his whole heel face progression there. I thought they'd have him come out then and attack Kevin Owens, but nope. So I guess they are sticking with 6 men, and I guess Wyatt's not showing up.
All right. Well, Okay, let me put it this way. I'm gonna try and throw it this way. It felt like this felt like such a real life thing where it's like it didn't feel completely wrestling, and it was just guys taking shots at each other like, oh, I won the Money in the Bank match that I created in stupid Idiotville or whatever. It just like Cesaro here was just like he was holding no punches, dude.
Yeah,
It felt like a real life conversation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was super organic. Dude, Jericho, this is the best work Jericho's done since like his 2009 heel run. Arguably the best stuff he's done in his WWE career, I think. That, in my personal opinion. I mean, then again, I was too young to remember any Attitude Era stuff. I mean, I still think WCW Jericho was better. But like this Jericho stuff is really, really good, man. I kind of like his. First of all, it was super, super meta. This whole show was so meta and, fourth wall breaking and embrace the meme ask.
Right, dude. Like, you know how many times I've seen the whole Peter Griffin thing? He said it. You know how many times?
Oh yeah, on Facebook and stuff, dude. Well, think about it. I mean, Chris Jericho said, "I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot."
Mm-hmm.
Nod to the audience. John Cena, I guess he said the Bullet Club. I thought he said Bullet Club, but
yeah, he said Bullet Club.
Yeah, the nice people of Reddit made sure to point that out to me aggressively in hordes with pitchforks. But Styles saying that Cena was
buries guys like him.
I'm thinking that term now in WWE. They're treating it as if it's sort of like not a kayfabe breaking term, sort of, you know what I mean? Because they said, they let Jericho say it on TV. I think they're sort of allowing Barry to become less of an insider term and more of a term that wrestlers will use to say that they're gonna, beat somebody without any haste or with haste. I mean, I could be wrong with that, but I mean, yeah, like I said, yeah, Jericho using that in the Styles storyline. I have Styles saying it to Cena. I think they are getting a little meta because, like I said, when they're appealing to a mainstream demographic, I'm saying throwing a bone, them being meta and kind of saying this tongue-in-cheek stuff that's going to appeal to smarks or smarter fans. That's not the bone I'm talking about here that's going to keep us coming back, but it's a little nice that they're like, nah, okay, well, that was nice. That was nice. Segment, I guess, wasn't a complete disaster, but I guess I get what they're doing in that regard, but the whole thing was super meta. Dude, I don't know. I think Sami Zayn, like, if you would have told me he would have been this charismatic or, this comfortable on the main roster, he has improved, leaps and bounds, his ability on the microphone and just his charisma. I mean, he's always a great charisma, but.
Well, so you get it. Like Ambrose was basically like, yeah, we get it. You don't like him. He doesn't like you. He'll challenge everybody. He'll challenge guys who don't work here. Everybody, like, basically in this point, like, had, great stuff. I didn't think, like, I forgot who. No, at first I didn't think Cesaro would talk because Cesaro wasn't saying anything. I just thought Cesaro would be the guy to dive across the ring, and as dangerous as it would have been, uppercut somebody off a ladder.
Yeah, I figured they weren't going to have any spots. I knew Cesaro was talking because I saw a microphone in his hands. Without the little WWE branding on it, too, I noticed. That must be part of his 007 gimmick somehow. I don't know how that would really...
You'd really have to, like, think and stretch. Like, oh, he maybe doesn't... I don't know, dude. I'm not... I don't know
the logic behind that. They just maybe thought it looked... nice. It was sleek and black. Like I don't know. I really don't know, Gordon. I'm too tired to dissect the minds of WWE creative.
Yeah, let's not do that. That's bad for your health. But as we move on, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say overall, I was expecting it to be complete trash. It was a really awkward setup with the ladders. But it was a great segment. I thought it was a great way to. I thought the first half of the show before we continue on was very good. But I thought this was a great way to kick off the show. I didn't mind this. I thought this generated some intrigue. And I just think the back and forth was funny. It was organic. You can tell it wasn't too scripted, and a lot of the guys showcased their strongest points. And Alberto Del Rio was there, and that was that.
Oh yeah, Cesaro, like yeah, you can talk Spanish. Yeah, you're basically calling us dogs. It's like that's the only Spanish word Del Rio uses. Like, pero, I'm sick of you with it.
Yeah, and I am so scared. If I were a betting man, I would say Alberto Del Rio is going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. I really do.
You know what, man? We had a little thing about Owens. I think I'm going to back down from that. I think Ambrose is winning it.
Yeah. No, Ambrose is my second for sure. I'd say it goes Del Rio, Ambrose, then Jericho. I say Del Rio just because Vince loves him, and they typically don't like to go with someone that I guess a smarter audience likes. I hate saying that term, a smarter audience. I'm not. I don't mean it like that, but an audience that watches the product more. And if you don't believe me, I mean, just sort of look at history. I mean, Seth Rollins wasn't supposed to win that year. Sheamus was supposed to win the year that Seth Rollins won. They go with a guy that I guess is a safe choice, or not even a choice, but a choice where Vince is comfortable with.
Let's put it this way: someone established that people know and that won't fall off the radar and won't be a complete failure. They want to basically like phone it in a little bit, like go with what's safe and go with what they feel works instead of going what could be an organic making of a new star.
Yeah, and it's that, but it's also too Vince realizing that, hey, me giving this guy the briefcase is essentially saying they're going to be world champion one day. And at the end of the day, it boils down to who Vince wants to be world champion. And he wants a guy like Del Rio or Sheamus, you know what I mean? So he thinks, one of the rare times he thinks in the shit. Yeah. Again, guys, pretty tired. If I didn't say that already 1,000 times. But one of the few things where he thinks long term is with this Money in the Bank briefcase, I think, and he realizes, hey, whoever I put this on is going to have the title eventually. So I could really, really see it going to a guy like Del Rio. Ambrose would be my second choice, and I think then with the Ambrose Asylum with the Shield on there next week, I think
that's what confirmed it for me. I'm like, yeah, Dean's winning this Money in the Bank briefcase. Like that's something like this is what WWE doesn't do. They never give you a reason to tune in the next week. Like, oh, this is what's happening. Like they'll give you a reason to tune into the WWE Network. They'll be damn sure to remind you at the end of the show. Don't make me like Swerve is on the network now. Like,
dude. I was thinking about that while I was watching. I was just thinking, man, they blow their load with absolutely everything instantly, dude. Think about it. The Styles Cena match, dude, that's a SummerSlam match. But guess what? They don't, dude, they just want to get.
It's going to be like Cena Owens. They're going to do it 3 times, dude.
No, dude, they're not. It's going to be, dude, did you see how Cena had that jab at Reigns today? They're planting the seeds, dude. They're going to have Cena versus Reigns at SummerSlam. I'm telling you, Gordon. I'm telling you. It's going to
be Cena. Oh, yeah, he's like, first you lost to Roman Reigns. He's like, now you think you can beat me?
Yeah, exactly. It's Cena, and then Cena's going to do the job to Reigns. Reigns is going to go over Cena. Dude, the reason why I'm so bitter right now is just because the trajectory of the WWE for going forward, I feel, is so predictable. And I know this is a crossing road, or a crossroads that every WWE fan comes by. You know what I mean? Where they, admit how predictable it is, and they get jaded and bitter, and then eventually just accept it. I hope that's the period I'm in right now. I hope this is that phase for me. I hope this is my coming of age moment as a wrestling fan. But dude, it's so painfully obvious to me when you have booking where you're booking for one man and one man only, and trying to build an entire company and franchise around one man, the booking becomes so transparent and so obvious. You know what I mean? It's like, look at the company for the last 10 years with Cena, how predictable it is. You got the exact same formula with Reigns, it seems, and I don't know, Gordon. Let's just move on.
we got to move on. We haven't even moved on to Seg 2 yet, dude.
I know.
Which was Cesaro versus Jericho, and I mean, Cesaro defeated Jericho, and this was weird to me. Like, he used the walls of Jericho, not the walls of Jericho, I'm sorry, the sharpshooter, and this looked like one of the better executed sharpshooters to me.
Yeah, he locked in the knee. He put his arms around the knee. That's actually I made a little mental note of that. I thought that looked really good the way he locked it in. He sort of put his own tweak on it.
And dude, it's the squat too. Like people don't realize the key to this is how you squat on the lower back.
Yeah, exactly. It looks painful when Cesaro does it. You know what I mean? It looks like he's actually inflicting some sort of pain.
Yeah, as to where most guys just stand up and hook it. Like you realize the pain in this is not on the legs.
Yeah,
it's when you
on the lower back. You're wrenching the lower back. Yeah,
because you're arching the back in a position that it's not supposed to go, and you're throwing your weight on it to a degree.
Yeah, and that boils down to psychology too, and just Cesaro being, one of the best guys in the world, one of the best workers in the world. He gets it. He really does. He gets it in the ring, not too much on the microphone.
Dude, he's been like his promo chops have gotten better. Like if you think about where Cesaro was when he first came in, I speak 5 languages, and then the yodeling, and then he's come a bit of a ways. I'm not gonna say he's like amazing. He's come a ways though.
I don't know. I've been rewatching old stuff like of his U.S. title run, 2012. And honestly, dude, as a heel, I mean, obviously you're gonna be more comfortable as a heel on the mic, but I feel he sounded more comfortable. I can't sit here and say Reigns hasn't improved. I mean, which he hasn't, and then say Cesaro has improved on the mic. I gotta be honest. If it's a guy I like too, personally, I'll be honest. I don't think Cesaro's gotten any better on the microphone. But again, he lacks in that area, he certainly makes up for it in probably the biggest facet of professional wrestling, the wrestling aspect. So, he can tell a story in the ring too, and that's another very important thing.
That's one of my favorite parts about Cesaro. Like his psychology game is on point too. Like, okay, like I know people who are getting sick of the kinesio tape on the shoulder, and I mean, honestly, I love it. Especially what match was that he had with Miz? Like one of the matches he had with Miz, I think it was the Money in the Bank qualifier. Miz was working the shoulder, and he was just completely he was being a beast, selling it the entire time, and like working and utilizing the one main arm. Like Cesaro's psychology is completely on point. But another thing I didn't like in this match, well, I said it was a good match. Another thing, this would be the one thing I didn't like in this match, the standing vertical suplex. That you see guys like Cesaro. You see guys like Cesaro, Cage, well, Brian Cage for some of you who don't watch Lucha Underground, and Michael Elgin do. That they usually like pull it off the way they usually do. It kind of looked a little unimpactful and kind of sloppy to me tonight.
Elgin's looks amazing, but then again, Elgin also holds his for 30-something seconds. But
I mean, I like Cage the best, honestly.
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't really seen much Lucha, so I don't know that. But yeah, Elgin's. I get what you mean. But then again, too, you're also. I mean, Cesaro's a big guy, obviously, but I mean, we're talking about two much bigger guys, Gordon.
Yes, but we're talking about guys at the same level of strength.
Well, yes, but Cesaro, I mean, he's toned as fuck. He's chiseled, but you know what I mean. He doesn't have a ton of mass, I'm not saying a ton of mass, as much mass as these other guys have on them. Where it looks more impactful when a bigger guy is doing it. You know what I mean?
I know, but once Cesaro does it, like what my point is, like it comes off. It actually comes off like it looks really, really good. Like this was like the first one Cesaro's done out of like 3 years.
Oh, you're saying it looks good?
I'm saying it looks good usually. I'm saying this one didn't look too good. Like this is weird to me. Like it came off as like just unimpactful, where the ones that he usually does just look so beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't notice that much. I don't know. Maybe I was zoning out a little bit there, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're getting very nitpicky now, though.
I'm just saying, like, these are just little things for me. But yeah, Cesaro doesn't. Huh?
So we just talked 5 minutes about a suplex for Christ's sake.
Well, Cesaro did go on to win this match with, basically the sharpshooter. But up next, we get the Reigns and Rollins video package, and this is number 1. And this is, like, they're up and down with Rollins as I'm this good guy, I'm this bad guy. You could have him they could have went 2 ways with this dude. They could have had, and they obviously chose the route of which would make fans cheer for Rollins. But they could have went I'm the heel, I'm coming back from my injury to regain my championship that I never lost, and blah blah blah. Obviously, recovery was really easy for me. But no,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
went the WWE24 route and used half the WWE24 video, which I'm not calling a bad idea, but I'm just saying, like, they basically went the redemption route.
Yeah. Well, Gordon, all right, allow me to go off on a filibuster here for like a little bit because I have so much to say about this. Okay. So that WWE 24 special, which they borrowed a ton of footage from, I, I was willing to, be dismissive of that because, obviously that's out of kayfabe. They expect you to be able to distinguish the difference between Seth Rollins, the wrestler, and Seth Rollins, the actual guy. But the fact that they promoted that so heavily, and then on Raw today, like you said, they went the redemption route, which is the story they should have been telling from the beginning. They should not have had him done anything heelish besides attack Roman Reigns. They should not have had him cut a promo in front of a live audience. They should have had him teeter-tottering on this line of ambiguity. It should have been, in my opinion, a face versus face match, obviously, or maybe a tweener Seth, whatever, but just certainly not full-blown heel Seth, which what they're going. Because this video today, how am I supposed to go into that match and boo Seth Rollins? They didn't. The only thing they did was splice in a little bit of the footage, which they totally think is enough. They think this was enough to somehow generate some boos. Then again, we do have to wait to see what they do next week because this is not the go home show. But they just spliced in the part where he said, "Oh, I don't need any of you" in front of the live audience. And if you think that's going to be enough to get for people to boo him in 2016.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even get to that part, dude. Like, they basically, what they did here was, like, they tried to go both ways a little bit. Like, they went the redemption route for the most part, but the little pieces that Rollins was talking there by himself, and it wasn't the WWE24 special, and the part that was, like, when he came back and said, "I don't need any of you people on my bandwagon," blah, blah, blah. It's like, you can't go two separate ways, especially when you just showed 75%, 60% of this video being about how he worked his way back from and everything. Like, you can't do that. Like, you're not, like, after you just spent, because humans, like, we all feel for, like, people. Like, there can be, like, the most people who's like, "Oh, I hate this wrestler," blah, blah, blah. But then when you see this person's personal recovery in life, about how his struggle went, I don't care who you are. You're not gonna. Yeah, you're a compassionate person. I don't care who you are. You're not gonna be like a giant dick. Like, you deserve it. People are compassionate, and you can't just turn them like, "Yeah, well, I did this without any of you people." But it's just, if you're gonna go one way, go one way. You're gonna go the other, go the other.
Exactly. That's the thing, dude. It's like they don't even know what they're doing, and it doesn't matter to them. You know what I mean? They don't book these shows with any sort of, you know what I mean? I think all that matters to them is the go-home show. If they make him look like an asshole because they think people will be tuning in then, and then the pay-per-views. Everything else is sort of a gray area. But like you were saying, dude, like I said, had they just left that documentary on the network, whatever, still kind of weird to promote that so heavily when it made him out to just look like the most determined, dedicated badass ever. But then to go ahead on Raw and use footage from that and use that promo that he cuts from his hospital bed and paint him, it would have been so easy to paint him in a negative light too, Gordon. You know what I mean? Like, they could have made it like how he destroyed the shield and selfishly sold out. But instead they painted it as he worked his ass off. They showed him winning Money in the Bank. They showed him cashing the title, having a huge moment. They showed footage of him defending his title and beating people and, like, looking like a respectable champion. You know what I mean?
That's another thing, dude. Like they justified what he did. Like from the very beginning. Like, this is another part I liked about this, but if they wouldn't have tried to make him seem like a douchebag, I would have loved it more, because he started off like saying this from the beginning. I've said it in the Shield, I've said it in public, I've said it, like, I've said it to the authority, I've said it to everyone. And I don't know if he said I said it to Vince, but he basically said, "I've always said from day one, I want to be the greatest of all time."
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said, like, "I want to be the greatest of all time, and that means I'll do anything to become the greatest of all time." and then they show him breaking up the Shield. Like they justify it. Like you can't be the greatest of all time being one man in a 3-man group. It's just not going to happen. So he basically did. I'm not going to say for the betterment of everybody involved in the Shield, but he basically did it for him. And then whether they sink or swim, it's on them.
No, exactly, dude. That's exactly what I mean. Anything like in this promo package, they basically justified anything Seth Rollins did as a heel by him wanting to, and they made him remorseful. They made him seem remorseful. You know what I mean? For what he did. He's like, I'm sorry, but I had to do it to get ahead. And obviously, you can be mad at that, but people have been mad for 2 years, and now it's a period of time where they're like, all right, well, yeah, you wanted to be the best. You know what I mean? Like, how can you hate on that? And now, especially now, I get right when it happened, but how can you hate on it now? Especially seeing what they've become on their own. You know what I mean? Like they justified everything he did as a heel, and even the part too where he goes, people misinterpret my relationship with Roman. I like it. He's like, I do not hate Roman. He just happens to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. That is something that a face can say in a face versus face feud. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's literally saying, he's saying, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have to do this to Roman. It's nothing personal on Roman, but he's in my way of getting my championship back. This is such a valiant, respectable fight for Rollins, and they're still trying to make him a heel. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to work his ass off to get the title, and he did. He even if he cheats in some reprehensible way at the pay-per-view or tries, they showed a montage for 20 minutes of him working out and training. They showed him pushing his fucking torn knee on a machine right before WrestleMania just to try and get back as hard as he could. Did you see that? Did you watch the WWE documentary, 24 documentary? Gordon?
What, Seth Rollins? Documentary, right?
Yeah. They showed him. I don't know what this test was, but it essentially was a test.
Oh, the leg test to see how strong his leg is?
The strength test, yes, exactly. And he did that, and he put himself through unimaginable pain just to try to be at WrestleMania. Like, this guy, they painted him like he was, the face of this company, and he wanted to be more than anything, and he worked his ass off. And in the video package today, too, they showed footage from when he was a child. You don't do that for a heel. You don't show video footage from when he was a kid winning the title. You know what I mean? Did you see that?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. You don't do that for a heel. You just don't.
You really don't, dude. Like, I just...
And I would like to give WWE credit and say, oh, maybe they've got something planned here. They've got something up their sleeve. But I know next week in that Ambrose Asylum segment, they're going to have Rollins just basically say, like, you guys were the weakest part of the Shield. I tore up. He's going to be back to just being his typical chicken shit self, and he's gonna talk shit to the audience. Then it'll probably end with Roman Reigns Superman punching him, whatever. But
Dean is there for two reasons, dude. You heard me?
I heard you.
Yeah, Dean is there for two reasons. Dean is there for one, to set up the SummerSlam match, which honestly what I think is going to happen. That's my guess. That's my guess. This is the actual reason Dean is there. Two, because Roman can't get heat, and they figure if Seth runs down Dean, it'll make the crowd boo Seth.
Yeah, well, another reason this title pick feud is playing second fiddle to everything is because they know that Roman Reigns is not connecting, and they know that he can't get heat. So they're doing these segments on TV where Roman is so protected and it's not featured prominently, so it can't get shit on. And if it does get shit on, it's not remembered as well because it's not in the main event or it's not the opening segment. But they're keeping him off TV now and doing this stuff, you know what I mean, to build him in a way where he's not in front of a live audience or can't get, reacted to.
Tonight would have been the best night for them to put Roman out there, and I think they might have realized it after the show was over because this crowd was like the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, they're very marky.
No, dude, they weren't even reactive.
Yeah, there was times. It wasn't Corpus Christi levels, but I get what you mean. But dude, another thing is too is Dean Ambrose is their proverbial panic button too for Reigns too. I think in this segment, they're gonna sort of have Reigns and Ambrose be buddy buddy. So if you're booing Reigns, you're booing Ambrose, kind of in a sense like that. How they do that, I'd like to see, but
dude, Ambrose gets like no reaction when he's with Roman. It's like if Ambrose would say something, like fans are just like a little bit of a cheer, yeah, and then they'll be like, he'll say something to defend Roman, and it's just pure silence. Like no one's gonna really boo Dean, but they'll boo Roman.
Mm, they've neutered Ambrose, dude. And in my mind, you know that Ambrose is my favorite next to Rollins, but
dude, it's just like Dean's been. Like, not to get off topic, Dean's been phoning it in, it feels like. And, you said Dean is your favorite next to Rollins.
Yeah, I know. I know that. I know. Well, the thing is, dude, I don't like him as much anymore because I can't. They do not give me a reason to like him, Gordon.
He needs a heel run. He need, like, it. It's,
they're not gonna turn heel, dude. They're not. They won't.
I figure if he wins Money in the Bank, it'd be best for Roman Reigns to win. It'd be best for Roman Reigns to win the match between him and Rollins, so Ambrose could cash in, win that. Roman can get his rematch, Seth can interfere, and then we get triple threat of Money in the Bank.
Dude, Gordon, we live in a world nowadays where WWE is realizing heel and face allegiance doesn't really matter as much, and they also realize the money with Ambrose is a baby face. He sells so much merchandise. He is, it's sort of a deity for emo girls that shop at Hot Topic that can wear his merchandise, and Dean Ambrose is the money with him is as a babyface, and the company knows that, and they view him as a quirky guy that has appeal to girls and has appeal to young kids because of the quirky, crazy shit he does, and then also appeals to hardcore fans. And they know if they let him do that visceral, sadistic shit as a heel, John Moxley shit, that it would be way, way, way too intense.
Caleb, let me tell you a story here.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to need you to respond to me as well with this. You know a guy named Dolph Ziggler, right?
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, well, there is this guy named Dolph Ziggler who everyone loved as a heel. They wanted him to become a babyface, and he eventually did. And then they shit on him for 9 months. He was jobbing for 9 months. But before most of this time, they threw him a bone. They threw him a bone or two. They threw him a couple of championships down the line, and he was the most reliable guy they had. Need a good match? Let's go find Ziggler. You need someone to carry a program? Let's go find Ziggler. And we'll throw him a bone here and there, but other than that, he's gonna mostly lose. We're gonna build him back up. He's gonna lose. And that to me is defined now as the evolving term. Like, this is the evolving term. Dolph Ziggler has evolved the term jobber.
Yeah.
And he was like a panic button. Like, he's just like a guy, like, you need to get a reaction out of, you need to have somebody get spotlighted, throw him in a feud with Ziggler, and that's how it is now. And to a degree, and it hurts me to say this, but if they keep Dean as a babyface, and it's like there have been signs of this, kind of, sort of, this is what Dean's going to turn to, and I sadly don't want that to be the case, because Rollins and Reigns are already so far ahead. They both have world championships, and if Ambrose does, it's not going to last long, and I mean, like, it kills me to say these things, but Dean is going to turn into what Ziggler is. Like, maybe not to as bad as a degree, but shit.
Well, yeah, he's become such a caricature of himself, and the thing with Dean, though, he has the potential to put on good, great Ziggler quality matches, or be a great enhancement guy like that. But the way they force him and sort of, he's been pigeonholed into wrestling, the style he does is wacky, sort of, eccentric styles, I'm sure they'd love to call it. He can't put on great matches like that. I mean, I can remember really one great Dean Ambrose match recently, and that'd be with, and I'm not even going to say great, but with Triple H at Roadblock. That was probably his only good match that I can remember in a long time, besides matches with Rollins. I think Money in the Bank last year with Rollins was a good match.
I didn't like that, man. I expected like way more. I think we might have talked about that though.
I saw it live. I thought it was pretty good live. That I might have a little bias because of that, but I mean, and also their lumberjack match at was that Battle? What?
SummerSlam.
No, that was SummerSlam. Yeah, that was great. Only good lumberjack match in WWE history. But
That's so true.
um, even the Hell in a Cell was okay, besides the ending. But dude, with Dean, it's just so sad because I know this is we were talking about beating a dead horse, preaching the choir, but dude, who would have thought that when the Shield broke up or when there's talks of the Shield going their own ways, that Dean Ambrose would be the forgotten member. You know what I mean? In what world would that have been the case, or should it be that? That just blows my mind. That you got a guy with that much talent. And that's what makes me sad and jaded too. You got a guy with that much talent. It's not just the case for Ambrose. It's the case for so many guys in the roster that are just intentionally misused because there's no spot for them right now. Because, like I said, Gordy, there.
Yeah.
You mute me?
No.
But like I said, it's a one-man show. And I know I just sound like the markiest of all marks. Well, it's a Roman Reigns show. But, it's obvious. They're focusing on one guy and putting all their cards and chips behind one guy and one guy only. And it's sad to see very, very talented guys just fall by the wayside and have to suffer because of that. But, I guess that's all I got to say about that.
Well, we basically covered part one, and we'll get to part two, but, with Reigns, but that's a little ways down the line. But up next, we basically covered this. Rusev defeated Swagger, and, Titus got in the middle of it. I don't even know, dude.
We don't need to elaborate further than that. This is a program that's going to go for 2 weeks and then never again. So.
And up next, we got the Cena versus AJ feud. The promo.
That was really after that. Wow. Dude, this was the highlight of the show. Again, this segment, it just speaks volumes to how great Cena is. My favorite feuds over the last 3 years, I'd say, have all involved Cena. Dude, AJ. Wow, I just think it's funny when he came in and people said, he was gonna have a rough time with promos. Dude, he rocked the shit out of that tonight, man.
Let me put it this way: everybody says guys from TNA like Joe and AJ have a rough time with promos. I feel like because TNA never structured the promos, go out. It's like they say, all right, go out there, talk about the feud. There's no direction. There was no bullet point. There was no. Yeah. And Joe is nailing his promos now. He's that heel in NXT who justifies everything down to a T and makes it seem like he's the victim.
Samoa Joe is the best promo guy in the company right now, besides maybe Kevin Owens and Cena, in my opinion. Seriously, dude, and Jericho, Dean, and that you could throw in there. But dude, I find it. I would find it hard to think anybody would say Samoa Joe sucks now. It's ridiculous. And AJ, dude. He's been killing it. He had a little mishaps as a face, whatever, here and there on his promos. But, dude, I would compare this to Daniel Bryan's parody promo before SummerSlam 2013 with Cena.
Oh, yeah, he's like, you were a parody of that was awesome.
Such a good promo. But AJ said, you make a mockery of me or whatever every time.
Oh, yeah, he's like, every time that bell rings, you make a mockery of my profession.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I found a lot of similarities between those two promos, and I found it awesome. And then, I found Cena's rebuttals awesome, too. They just work. This feud.
Can I just say, too, that is brilliant on your part. I commend you for, drawing the lines between the Bryan promo from 2013, your parody of wrestling, and you disgrace me every time that bell rings because you mock my profession. For the last 15 years I've been watching you mock my profession and put guys like me throw guys like me under the bus whenever we come in and try and, make a name for ourselves. We end up crossing paths with you. That's brilliant on your part, dude.
Well, I'm flattered, Gordon. No, but I really did think that they were borrowing from that, or they drew inspiration from that promo, because that's just instantly the first thing I thought of. But dude, you got to agree with me that this is such a good program that should have been. And I'm hard pressed to complain about it right now. I find it hard to complain about it because they're just knocking out of the park so well with it. You know what I mean? I think I'd be way more upset if it was just clear it was being rushed. I still am upset. Obviously, it's happening at Money in the Bank, but this is the feud. I think they want to get off quickly before the brand split. The guys might go separate ways. And then,
I forgot about that entirely. Like when I was saying, oh, this feud's gonna go to wherever. Like this feud's gonna go to SummerSlam. I'm like, well, I also think like one's gonna I think AJ may stay on Raw, Cena may go to SmackDown.
I think they're gonna break them up, and then I think this is a feud though that you can revisit down the line. Sam Roberts said on his podcast, give them a little taste, take it away, revisit it down the line. I think this is good for that. So I don't think this match is gonna end clean. I would think Styles would win, based on some sort of club shenanigans. But yeah, dude, most enjoyable part of the show for me by far.
We call them the Roppongi Club here. We do not go by that WWE labeling crap. We're half-ass lazy and we're gonna call it the club. Like fuck out of here, dude.
Hold on, club, dude. They gotta start marketing right now. But dude, no. I like all the Japanese references they're making too now. They're going all out with that.
I like it and I don't. It's a good thing and a bad thing. You know why it's a bad thing?
Because they're treating them like they're inferior.
It was the whole Usos thing with the club. Like the club came in, got their debut win, and then the Usos won every other match. Usos and Roman won every other match until the pay-per-view where the club got their revenge and they got the win.
Well, think about even tonight. They made the club look stupid again. Like Cena just beat the fuck out of them. Like, dude. I want to get to that actually, but because I got a lot to say about the closing segment. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Do you agree? You enjoy it as much as I did?
I really did. And we touched on the whole bury part, which was awesome too. And then Cena basically saying, "Oh no, I'm not burying anybody." That's basically you coming with all this hype, and you and all these other guys coming with all this hype. These newer guys, even guys before the new era, and it's not what it is. You guys are just busts. We call you guys like that. We call guys like you busts.
Yeah, no, it was super meta. It was super odd. And that's the thing, too. Anytime they have Cena work with, I guess, an indie darling or an internet guy, they always have the feud kind of tread more towards the meta side of things. I like it because, this feels like a feud they're catering to, their dedicated fan base, their loyal fan base. And I think it shows, and I think they're putting in a lot of good effort with it. So, yeah, I was happy about that. But
well, my last I know I probably have told these guys this, but I don't know if I've told you. I think I might have, but having Cena back has made me realize how good he is on the mic, how good he is in general, and I've underappreciated him because Roman Reigns has made me realize how much Cena is a valuable asset.
That's what everyone's saying right about now, dude. And seriously, yeah, because before Reigns was featured as prominently, I was full on the Cena hate bandwagon, but dude, yeah. It really, something like this does come along to make you appreciate it. And if this was Vince McMahon's scheme all along, his grand scheme, just get John Cena finally over with the hardcore fan base, then I commend you, my friend. But yeah, dude, I was really happy with this. Speaking of Vince, did you hear that he made Brock Lesnar arm wrestle him for the UFC 200 fight?
What the fuck?
Tell me that isn't the most Vince thing ever. He said that if he won the arm wrestling match, he could have the fight.
Is Vince's arm broken?
I don't know, dude. Maybe. I think he might have held his own a little bit, though.
All right, then.
Moving on.
Vaudevillains, Enzo and Big Cass.
Ooh, okay. This is a good one, too. Yeah, shit was good up until this point.
They redid the payback spot with Enzo going under the ropes, and it made Cass really, really mad and pissed. And he basically just, I seen this coming the minute they did it, because this is always the WWE route they go. This is always the route WWE goes with these things. The big guy goes off and basically beats the crap out of the Vaudevillains, and it got to a point where Cass got so heated, where the Vaudevillains actually started to look sympathy. They actually started to gain sympathy the way Cass is going, okay, dude, calm down.
Well, yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. And even Enzo, I really hope they're not teasing a breakup here with the brand split, because I know Vince has big plans for Big Cass and kind of wants him to go off on his own. But because what they were teasing here with Enzo, feeling like or looking like really disturbed and kind of, like what the hell? They in commentary made a note of seeing like even Enzo has never seen his partner like this. Like he's so surprised. And just the look. I mean, Enzo is golden. His psychology. I was gonna talk about this when we were talking about Cesaro's, but dude, just the way he looked at his stare at Cass and everything. How I think he was a bit apprehensive when Big Cass went in for the hug. He was kind of like, what have you done, you monster? But well, actually, going back to the beginning of the segment, man, dude, Enzo is just. Everyone keeps drawing comparisons to The Rock, but dude, I think Enzo, and I would get shit on by probably the majority of the internet for this, but I think he's way wittier than The Rock. Like he is so quick, just it's so witty and so natural, and he has his character. The Rock did too, obviously perfectly, but dude, Enzo is that's a guy that is gonna have a career no matter what. He was just born for this, and I think he's awesome. But I really hope they don't break up Enzo and Cass, because it doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean, Gordon? Like they just debuted. I know they were a staple in NXT for so long, but let these guys hit their ceiling first. You know what I mean? The soft chants and everything is so over with the audience. This is a potential to be a New Age Outlaws, or with levels of fan engagement.
Dude, and see, this is my thing. Like I don't like to say, I know this is going to happen. I know that's going to happen just from looking at this guy or that guy coming in. But this is the way WWE does things. Like with everybody, there's a game that's going to there's a long-term. Well, yeah, that's a long-term plan for every tag team that comes in. Like one guy out of the tag team, I like this guy. I like that guy. I like this guy. Like I knew it since NXT. I'm like, they treat Enzo and Cass as equals, right? Like Enzo does his part, Cass does his part to make the team work. But like once they get to the main roster, I guarantee you, once Vince and Kevin Dunn just all over Cass,
is over fucking Cass, yeah. No, that's what I mean though, and it's sad. It really is. I hope that's not the route they go, but they're gonna want to break up some tag teams just for when the draft comes, just to like add some that like whoa, like anything can happen in the draft, some of that like unpredictability. So I could see them doing that, and I don't like that at all, man. I mean, think about the money and leaving them as a tag team, because you know what I mean. Like I was saying, their levels of fan engagement, they haven't even started printing off the merch yet, and I don't think they would have been going this route had Enzo not gotten injured, and if people not gotten a little taste of Big Cass and weren't as receptive to him as they were.
Well, see, I hear people like nowadays saying like, Cass seems like he basically seems a little intimidated on the mic because like he has to work off of Enzo.
Yeah.
That's not the easiest thing to do.
I think Cass definitely holds his own. I think sometimes he gets judged a little unfairly just because, like you said, he is with Cass. But no, I think he holds his own. But I just think it's a similar situation where people wouldn't mind if he was pushed that hard right now. But there's already a little bit of that level of resentment with him just because people know now and they're wary and they know that it's going to be a Roman Reigns type situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I was saying. It's NXT. Like, I feel like a dick for even saying this. I don't think many people would notice. I might have told you this. Like, I've always had this little.
You have great foresight when it comes to this shit, Gordon. You do. I'll admit that. You have very good foresight. Like.
Well, I might have told you. I'm like, I'm not the biggest Cass fan. And you're like, why? It might not have been you. Might have been someone else. But it was like, I can see when he gets to the main roster, they just completely drool over him and like, okay, we'll let you guys be a thing for a while, let it get hot, let Enzo build you up and, hype you up and you can do your thing in the ring, and then once we feel like you're set, we'll let you go for singles.
Yep.
And I feel like Enzo, have you noticed that Cass looks like Test? That's just another thing I'm going to mention here.
Yeah, I think he looks like Edge, a big Edge. But
yeah, that was my point. Like, it was going to like, and see, JBL was GM at NXT, right? For 3 months or whatever. And then I could tell this is Kevin Dunn or Vince immediately when they debuted, that night they debuted. Because once Cass stepped in the ring, and I quote, this was the quote from JBL, "Man, look at the size of Cass. Oh,
Yeah, that was Vince in his ear. Yep. Dude,
exactly.
but yeah, well, that's the thing about NXT. They do a good job of making you forget the tropes and norms of the main rosters. You're kind of forgetful, and you just sort of fall for the charm and the mystique of NXT land, and you just accept everything at face value. And then goes to the main roster, and it gets Vincified, and you start seeing the holes in what you thought to be a great thing down in NXT. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I really hope they don't break these guys up. And people may have interpreted this a different way, but I feel like I'm probably giving WWE a little too much credit on this end, because I don't think they'd have this psychologically deep of a story. But yeah, Enzo seemed very disturbed. But yeah, man, I don't know. I hope Enzo doesn't ever get just tossed to the side, because that would be the biggest waste in wrestling history.
Like the lesser degree of RVD and Kane, little dude, cool with the big dude, and then big dude snaps and then kills little dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, dude. I was thinking that comparison. I think it's only. I think we'll have a situation with Enzo eventually where he has a little bit of not Stockholm syndrome, but he's kind of stays with Cass a little bit out of fear, and shit hits the fan one day.
You heard Enzo in NXT. Well, yeah, you heard Enzo. You try and take Cass out. You're taking food off my table. He is. I live off of him. He lives off of me.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Also, with this too, like you're saying, that how they have each other's backs. Like Cass, if you think about it, the Vaudevillains actually tried to paralyze Enzo tonight in kayfabe. They tried to duplicate the same injury, and they said stay down this time, implying like, well, maybe you'll fucking die.
Yeah.
So Enzo seems like a bit of a dick.
You want to know why they're doing this though?
What?
You want to know why they're really like they went to that resort though?
Well, let me just finish this thought by saying, like, Enzo would come across a bit of a dick if he was mad at Big Cass for protecting him and freaking out when these guys that just tried to kill his best friend. You know what I mean? So it was just a weird way to book that. But what were you going to say?
See, okay, so it's basically like this for me. It's they did this because the WWE needs tag teams for their tag team division, right?
Yeah.
And the Vaudevillains on their first couple of weeks were getting no kind of heat. And like in the past month, it's been like they've done like the big, like you could smell the desperation coming off it. They've had these huge desperation attempts to try and get some heat for the Vaudevillains.
Yeah, no, I was a guy that had no hopes for the Vaudevillains whatsoever. I thought they were dead in the water. I didn't think they were going to do anything at all, and I'm very surprised at how well they've been treated. Because I thought that's just something Vince would just dismiss as NXT garbage. But they've been treated well, and they've made the best of when they've been on TV. But
I'm not saying Vince is in any way, shape, or form coming around NXT at all. Like, don't take this as that. What I am saying though is, as of recent, like Vince, he's at takeover specials, like because you even seen in the the whole Seth Rollins thing when they were going through Gorilla. You've seen Vince behind Triple H, and he's even been at a couple of takeovers recently. I think he's starting to understand how some of these guys work, and I think he's willing to be a little bit more patient for what he thinks could, just be maneuvered a bit to his liking, instead of just looking at it, this is garbage, get it out of my face.
Yes, Vince will always give a chance, but most of the time it's either, it's trial by fire, it's either sink or swim instantly. It's not, well, let's give you a month and see how, this plays out. It's really, well, here's your chance, go take it. But one team that Vince is very high on, segue, by the way. No, but one team that Vince does really like is, we call them Febreze, which is way better.
Yeah.
But Breezango, he actually he was on the record, I guess, according to the dirt sheets, if you want to believe that. But that he was high on them and he liked that and he thought they worked perfectly together. But I'm gonna believe it just based on
they're perfect for each other.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. They're sitting on money with this, but how they were treated today, they were giving a backstage segment and they were featured prominently and they didn't job. I think Vince does like them. Rumor is he's given up on the shining stars, and I think instead of investing effort in them, they've taken 10 steps backwards with them and are now back to just airing vignettes after they debuted 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Kazani Fever, bro.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago they debuted, or maybe it was
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but no, I hope he goes forward with Breezango because they're perfect. They could be a perfect comedy tag team. I think Breezango could be what they wanted R-Truth and Goldust to be, in the sense that it could be a comedy tag team that could eventually get over and would be, believable as tag team champions, and that people could get behind.
I love Tyler Breeze to death. I've given Fandango a chance. I've fallen off on him, but with this, it's.
Oh, I love Fandango.
See, dude, I've always felt like, even in NXT, I'm like, Tyler Breeze is perfect for Fandango. If they're gonna do anything with him, throw him with Fandango, because I didn't really see much of anything else from him, because I didn't think main roster crowds would take that kind of thing serious.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's awesome too because they're transitioning Fandango from dancing gimmick now, which I don't know whoever thought that'd be a great idea, but to now he's just kind of going to be a pretty boy male model too, and I think he'll be taken more seriously too. So it's mutually beneficial for them. But dude, I've always been a Fandango supporter. I remember Johnny Curtis when he was Johnny Curtis. I thought that shit was hilarious. After NXT, not the milk vignettes; those were fucking weird. But
I remember. Or he had Maxine, aka Katrina, by his side.
When he chloroformed that guy, if you remember those backstage, Dude, those were funny as fuck. He gets it. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. But they had a disqualification with Golden Truth, and then Teddy Long came back out and was disoriented again, and eventually that led to him being, emasculated by Stephanie, which I am getting so sick of, Gordon.
Everyone is, dude.
I know, but it's that's her gimmick now, and she thinks by embracing it or something, people will just accept it and move on. Oh, well, they mean to do this. No, Stephanie, you try and put yourself over every time you're on camera. It's annoying. Just stop. But she is very insecure, probably due to the fact she didn't get enough attention from her parents growing up, but I'm not going to hand out psych evaluations at 4 a.m. Or maybe ever. Probably should never do that. But yeah. So, but I think they did a good job though in building some sympathy for Teddy. And I didn't expect Teddy Long to be as over as he was in fucking Oklahoma City. That was awesome. I would love to see Teddy, maybe not
top of the night
back down, but come back in some capacity for just some nostalgia. And if you're gonna do SmackDown, you gotta do it with Teddy Long, I suppose. So
dude, they left him as GM of that show for 4 years, and then they did the whole Vicky Guerrero thing. He was the assistant GM, and he let her get injured some nights just to let Teddy Long run the show.
Mm-hmm. When I started watching as a kid, Teddy Long was 05, 06. He was in charge of SmackDown. That's the way it was. But Gordon, my laptop's on 6%. We gotta get moving here. We're gonna have to do the condensed version.
Would you be able to know where your charger is?
I do know where my charger is, but I think it'd be fun if we sort of tried to do a race against the clock here. Also, especially considering the fact I feel like I'm going to pass out.
I mean, if you want to go, dude, you
No,
can
I'm not going. I'm not going, but I'm saying my laptop might go before me.
All right, well, if that happens, I will continue. You're welcome to come back in if
I'll plug it in if it gets to 1%, but let's try.
All right, well, Zayn and Del Rio backstage. You want to handle this?
Who was backstage?
Zayn and Del Rio.
Oh yeah, this is just where Del Rio basically said that he's won the Money in the Bank before and he's won the title because of it, and that Zayn is just a pero. Alberto Del Rio likes saying that. If you guys haven't realized, he likes calling people peros.
Well, let's call people dogs just for no reason, dude.
Yeah, just calling people dogs. Working on his ebonics. I respect it. Blacker than Gordon. Hashtag blacker than Gordon. That should be a popular hashtag on Twitter. But it's an easy one to think of things for. But yeah, and he's basically just saying that, Sami Zayn. I kind of zoned out during this, but basically he was saying that Sami Zayn's in the big leagues now, and that he's going to lose to Del Rio because Del Rio's been there, and you know what I mean. And Sami Zayn said he's basically aspiring to do what Alberto Del Rio had done before, and that's win the Money in the Bank, then cash in and become a champion. It was an okay back and forth. Not really. Del Rio kind of sucks. Sammy kind of shined. But did that lead directly into the match?
Yeah, which Del Rio went on to win with the double stomp, and honestly, dude, it's a Raw match. These matches don't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, especially when they're both already in Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I just think they don't view Sami Zayn just yet as a guy that is really main event level. I suppose main event, but he's really upper mid card. I think they view him and Kevin Owens sort of the same thing right now, and they can eat losses from people and have their match, which I think they're ultimately building to at SummerSlam.
They can eat losses and be perfectly fine.
Yes, exactly. They'll bounce back, and also it won't affect their match. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens match, it won't affect that in any way, and they know that. So yeah, Del Rio beat Zayn with a double foot stomp, which was kind of a short match. Nothing really to write home about. It's kind of a contrived spot over there where Del Rio failed a double foot stomp, and Zayn tried to reverse it and was commended for his core strength for simply lifting himself up to the top turnbuckle. And then Del Rio just raked his eyes. And they did a bad job of the spot. I think they wanted this to be more obvious that Del Rio poked his eyes, but it did not come across that way on TV. And then he super kicked Sami Zayn in the face, double foot stomp, pinned him 1, 2, 3.
All right, well, my best advice to you now, Caleb, would be just your laptop, because you know what we have next? I mean, not your laptop, your charger. You know why?
Why?
Reigns Rollins Part 2, Roman Reigns Part.
Oh, God. All right. You can start this. I'm going to grab my charger. I will be back.
Okay. Well, this just turned out to be Roman Reigns saying that Seth Rollins basically thinks he kind of basically said Seth Rollins thinks he's God. He said he thinks he created, like, this is the one thing that I especially want to get Caleb's opinion on. He thinks Seth Rollins thinks he created Pop-Tarts. What, dude? He thinks he... Okay. Alright. He thinks he created sliced bread, he thinks he created Pop-Tarts, and he thinks... He basically said Seth Rollins, his view on things isn't really right. And it's just... Yeah, man, I wasn't really too high on this. Like, I mean, they honestly tried to do a good job with this. It really didn't such. I mean,
dude, the Roman portion of this was, it was way, I guess, sloppier done. I thought this portion they were really, really going to put Roman over or make an effort to. They did not do a good job of that at all. They tried to make it the story of his redemption. They have sort of this revisionist history with WrestleMania 31 main event where it looked as if Roman Reigns was about to win, and then Seth Rollins cashes in. But in actuality, if you go back and watch that match, or if you just remember, which WWE seems to think that you can't remember, it happened over a year ago. What'd you say?
WWE, like I said, man, if it didn't happen 6 months ago, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
so they remind us of what happened. They want us to believe it happened the way they think it happened.
What happened was Brock Lesnar had just F5'd Roman Reigns and was going to pin him, and then Rollins ran down. So, if anything, it looked as if Roman Reigns was about to lose because he had eaten 4 F5s.
Kicked out of 2 of them at that.
They want to have you believe,
yeah. He kicked out of 3 of them, and then the other one was just to get Roman off of him.
Yeah, but it looked as if Lesnar was going to win. They want you to believe clearly that it looked as if Reigns was about to pin Lesnar, and Rollins came in and he did some move. I can't remember what the move was. It was this old move Rollins used to do.
What?
For a while there, and then he just stopped doing it one day. because he started doing the pedigree. It'll come back to me. It'll come back. But
I
yeah,
don't know, dude. Is it the? I don't know, man. I think he used to put the back of his foot onto someone's hand and stop on something like that. I don't know.
something like that. I think you're on the right track, but I don't know if that's exactly right. Whatever. But not important. But yeah, so they have this revisionist history of that. And so they make it seem as if this was Roman Reigns' long-awaited redemption, when in reality, Seth Rollins sort of he beat Lesnar and just pinned Reigns. But that's meta in the sense that if that was Reigns' real moment, it would have been his moment behind the scenes. That was the moment where they decided to put the strap on him. In kayfabe, that was not Roman Reigns' moment at all. But yeah, they sort of just built it to that, and then they just showed Rollins attacking Reigns, him saying, he'll attack me from behind. They used awful audio clips of Roman Reigns in the Shield saying, I came here with brothers, and now I have none, which I laughed at out loud because
you call Dean your brother all the fucking time.
2 weeks ago, you were with the family, the Usos, who are your cousins, who you claim you never need their help, but you sure bank on them a lot for help. So I just thought that was funny. They really did not do a great job with this. It was much shorter. Didn't paint Reigns in a better light. Honestly, if anything, just made him look kind of arrogant. Not too much, but definitely made he looked. I'm not gonna say he looked heelish, but he certainly didn't look.
Dude, the promo that Roman Reigns has been cutting since after WrestleMania, it's been heelish. It's the heel promo. Like even when Rollins was talking, it's the heel promo.
Well, yes and no. It's heel in the sense that he's not pandering to the audience, but it's still passable enough where it's like a good guy can say that and get away with it. You know what I mean? Like he can say that, and their viewing is basically Roman's just saying like, if you don't like me, whatever. And that's not a heelish thing to do. That's just saying basically fuck the haters. But yeah, it was weak. It was weak. I get what they're doing. Trying to keep him off TV so he can't get eaten alive. But the thing is, next week they didn't do anything that would make somebody not want to boo him next week. You know what I mean? There's nothing in this promo package.
Dude.
Rollins' promo package had footage of him as a little kid, as a wrestling fan. It had his actual story of redemption, and then they try and duplicate just such a forced, contrived story of redemption for Roman Reigns when we just saw a genuine, real one with Rollins. It really paled in comparison, I think.
I mean, Roman Reigns has a WWE 24 as well, and they honestly could have showed things with that. Like they could have done so much better on this, but they decided not to. They could have showed W24, and they could have just had him fill in new audio clips, saying, "Yeah, this wasn't always my goal, but when it did become my goal, I'm like Seth. I strive to be the best. That's what all of us had the main goal for in the Shield. We knew we were three of the best, and we could have, we wanted to go somewhere with this. When Seth decided to split, he made the worst decision of his life because look who's the man now. You may have never lost a championship, but I have a stranglehold in it, and I'm never losing it."
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. It just blows Roman Reigns way better.
It blows my mind that they're so desperate to get Reigns over, yet they can't do just simple little things to get him over.
Dude, he's the mid-card champ. Have you noticed that at this point? He doesn't open Raw ever anymore. He doesn't close Raw.
No, exactly. Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Vince can say he likes Roman as much as he wants, but I think his faith is dwindling away slowly but surely.
Yeah, they're not featuring him as prominently because they're not backing off with him, but because they know they can market Reigns and he can be the guy that they're going to plaster on billboards and put on stuff, and he doesn't have to be featured in the main event of television, and he doesn't have to get shit on. So they can continue to have this revisionist history where they can splice together video packages of making it look like he's widely accepted by the fans, like they did for his win at WrestleMania 32 when he's holding the title and they piped in those cheers and they had the fireworks go off. I thought that was funny.
I was watching it with my friend too, and then I'm like, I keep basically, I'm like, if they're gonna show the WrestleMania 32, then it's gonna be funny because you won't hear anything. They cut the mic. And he's like, then where are those cheers you hear? And I'm like, that's bullshit. They piped that shit in.
They piped that in. And when you're watching with someone that hasn't watched wrestling before, and you tell them it's piped in cheers,
I'm like, he knows that. He was just being a smartass. I'm just saying.
but my friends, they think that I'm just like being bitter and I'm just finding reasons to hate Reigns. They're like, well, how would they just pipe in cheers? They act like I'm conspiring or something. I'm like, oh, those are piped in cheers. Like you know what I mean? If I'm in a tin hat or something, but they're you know what I mean? They are piped in cheers. But yeah, well, I mean that's all I have to say about that. What was after that segment?
Up next is Ambrose and Owens.
Yeah, basically the same thing with ADR and Zayn here. They know Owens can eat a loss. The only thing that might play into what you're saying about and I think Ambrose has a good shot winning too. They're making him look pretty strong and formidable here before the match. Realistically I could see it going to ADR, Jericho, or Ambrose, but who knows? It's too early to begin. Not too early to begin speculating. I guess we're 2 weeks away, but you never know. But what was after that segment?
After that was Charlotte and Dana beat down Natalya and Becky, and God fucking damn it, dude. Like, I've heard, I even hate to start off the segment like, no, I'm not going to start the segment like this, because I'm a Becky Lynch fan first, Sasha Banks fan second. Like, I hope, because Becky's in this eventually gets Natalya out after Money in the Bank, and then it goes down back to Becky chasing Charlotte for Becky to get the title at SummerSlam, because, the rumors have come out that Vince is already, Sasha Banks is injury prone, blah, blah, blah. But, man...
Dude, I think they're going to build to a Sasha Banks, Charlotte SummerSlam match. That's where I think they're going. But with this segment, dude, I think Charlotte, already without Ric Flair, sounds way better as a promo. She seemed super confident tonight. Almost like she wasn't nervous out there in front of her dad or something. I don't know if that's what it was, but she just sounded so much better to me. Dana Brooke
sounded better to me, but it's still, just because she sounded better doesn't mean she sounded good. It's that's that thing to me. It's little steps.
Well, yeah, but Rome wasn't built in a day, Gordon. She's gotta improve. Dana looked good. She's still very green, wrestling wise, but she's got potential. She's got her character down.
Dude, I think the last time we talked about Dana Brooke together, I wanted her head on a stick.
Have you come around from that opinion a little bit, or
not really, because she's practically undefeated, and it's complete bullshit to me.
Well, it's because she's the female Roman Reigns. Vince is coming over her because she's muscular,
and yet he said this about Eva Marie, it didn't stick through, and he said this about so many other. Vince can't commit. Basically, he'll be over this in 3 months. Sadly.
Yeah. He gets over the women fast.
Yes.
If they don't do well. But yeah, nothing really to say about that. Becky is very good on the mic. I love Becky. Don't love her new hair. I don't know what the hell's going on with the hair.
It's kind of blonde now.
Yeah, it looked a little messy. I'm getting way too nitpicky. Can you tell I need a break from wrestling? But Becky is leaps and bounds ahead of everybody on the microphone.
Even Sasha.
Yes.
Here's the one thing about Sasha. Have you noticed? She'll even admit this to her, about herself. She's a mark over her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's a mark for herself. And I know, you're such a what's the word I'm looking for? You're contradicting, dude. You like the Young Bucks when they mark over themselves. Yeah, but I just feel like Becky is a little better than Sasha in the ring, and she's better on the mic.
Also, that's the Young Bucks characters at this point too. You know what I mean? To mark over themselves, they basically play a cartoon exaggerated version of themselves. You know what I mean? They know what sells and what's provocative and gets the people going. But yeah, Sasha. Anytime I say Sasha Banks is overrated, I get shit on. So I'm done saying it. But dude, I really.
I'm not going to say she's overrated. I love Sasha to death, and she's great at what she does. But I think Becky Lynch is better. The only reason people like Sasha is because
NXT. I missed Sasha Banks' main rise, but I've never seen anything besides her NXT Brooklyn matches and WrestleMania match that have amaze me too much, especially promo wise. I always hear, everyone always talks about how great she is as a promo, but
Did you see Unstoppable?
yeah,
See the match with Becky, right?
yeah, no, that was good.
Leading up to that, right?
Yeah,
That contract signing was great. Like even the thing of Brooklyn, where she basically like told Bailey, like she's like Bailey, like, oh, I prepared for a fight. She's like, you know what? You're not a threat. She's like, there's no reason for me to even do this.
That was good too, but I don't know, dude. I just think Becky is so much better.
I really do. And I'm not like just making a statement about Becky to come back and defend Sasha. I'm saying she's good, but I honestly believe Becky is better. Like,
yeah,
Sasha puts herself over. Becky makes a statement and like really gets the crowd going. And like,
I think Becky is way more over with casuals, I would say, than Sasha.
I wouldn't go there. We want Sasha chance on a weekly basis.
No, but I'm saying if you were to show somebody wrestling for the first time, somebody that is watching wrestling for the first time, Gordon does not chant, "We want Sasha." I'm saying if you were to show somebody wrestling for the first time, and you show them Becky, and then you show them Sasha, I think they'd pick Becky. I'm saying if you saw their work in a side-by-side comparison. But what was after this? Was it the main event?
No, Breezango and for Breeze. I'm sorry, it was for Breeze. There was the Tyler Breeze match.
Well, we already talked about that. I think we did that out of order then.
Yeah, disqualification finish basically.
Yeah.
And it was gonna be a tag team match. You went over the Teddy Long thing, and then the Muhammad Ali tribute, which they basically showed everything that he did. What was it, WrestleMania 1 or WrestleMania 3 he was at?
Yeah, we don't have to review that because
I know, it's just like rest in peace, Muhammad Ali. That's all I'm gonna say there.
Every sports related thing you watch for the next week. So, no disrespect to Ali. Rest in peace. Just saying.
Up next, we get what I'm calling, and I'm sticking to it, the Roppongi Club and the New Day.
Okay. I just want to go on the record of saying the plancha that Xavier Woods did, wow. Xavier Woods looked amazing. The Hadouken and the just everything he did. I love Xavier Woods. What? Well, I mean, for someone that wasn't familiar with his work in TNA or anything like that, Consequences.
I watched Consequences Creed, so this.
Yeah, I didn't watch Consequences Creed, but no, that's something he hasn't displayed yet on the WWE platform, and I think he impressed a lot of fans. Now you could hear it; he got an audible pop. People loved it. I was impressed, and Xavier, who is clearly treated as the third wheel of that group and just the forgotten member, not so much as by the fans, but just by Vince and stuff. You know what I mean? He's always the one that is left out or gets.
I feel like he's the leader in a sense, though. Like he's the mouthpiece, but yet at the same time, if you want him to wrestle, he'll wrestle.
I think Vince wants to.
Like he's like the Ambrose of the group.
Yeah, but exactly. Like where he just naturally his charisma and talent on the mic makes him the leader. But I think Big E is the leader in the same way that Roman Reigns is the leader of the Shield.
Yeah.
They feature, because if you notice, Big E is featured in the middle on their graphic card for matches. Like he's the guy in the center. He's the guy that they want to be the face. He's the
and
guy
like placement in certain things, like Triple H has always said, the placement for Vince is like key. Like where you're like sitting in a promo in the ring, like when you do rehearsal for the show, like he'll always make sure the prominently featured guy, the person who's supposed to be the star, is positioned in a certain spot.
Yeah, right in the middle. Yep, and they have Big E walk in the middle, and they have him be the first one to talk. I think Vince expects you to think Big E is the leader, which I mean I love all three of them, but yeah, Xavier, another just criminally underrated, maybe not underrated, but underappreciated by a lot of people because he's so talented.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, like I even hate to go back like toward like Sami Zayn, but like I feel like, dude, like so many people not take advantage, just like totally forget like how good Sami Zayn's. Like, oh, it's just Sami Zayn. Expect the good things out of him. Like he is so underrated.
Yeah. I know exactly. He's not as over as he should be, just because people expect it. But like people don't realize how much like a once in a lifetime talent he is. It's crazy. I was just thinking to myself today when I was watching, like, damn, I think Sami Zayn's the best wrestler on the roster, bar none.
Sadly, I think he has a ceiling. Like he may have a glass ceiling, which is upper mid card. Like.
I think you're saying wrestling wise, but dude, no, I think Sami Zayn's better than AJ Styles. I'll say it. I think he's better than Rollins. You know what I mean? I think he's better than Rollins in every facet of wrestling. Put on a show, maybe besides psychology.
I'm not going to touch that one because basically we've went into conversation on everything. I'll say this much though, like I would have an argument against that. Like, I'm not saying like you're wrong. I'm just saying I would have counterpoint to that.
Yeah, I take that back. He's not better than Rollins in every facet at all. He could not carry the company on his back, and Rollins could. And Rollins is a better promo too. I'll still admit that, but Sami Zayn's getting there. But yeah, no, it was a great segment. A little match. Xavier got injured because he got with the Styles Clash outside.
And I personally love this because it goes back to New Japan, where it's like, okay, if Xavier would have got that, he would have been off for like 5 minutes maybe, and then like back on the apron, and he would have been back in the ring, and like, you know, they would have did the whole psychology thing where he got his fire up, and then like he got like the hot tag, and then like it eventually wore on him, like, and his body just started giving up on him. But like I love, like, that was the WWE way of doing it, but I love that they went you know, the New Japan way. The Styles Clash is the lethal move to the point where if it hits you,
so brutal. Yeah, exactly. It's treated as just like the be all end all. And they treated it in such a way, and then they just had the phenomenal forearm too. Also looked devastating. They're really
Kofi was a huge part of that.
Yeah, dude, Kofi and AJ, they had a great match on SmackDown. They click so well together. I love it. I wonder if they're doing house show circuits together because they're tearing it up. They're doing so well. But yeah, so AJ gets the pin over Kofi after Big E gets dropped by Gallows. So a beatdown ensues, and then out comes John Cena, obviously.
And the baby faces have the house show type finish where they basically prevail.
Yep, it's 2 weeks in a row now where we haven't really had a great finish. Just sort of let's get the show fucking over with and go watch whatever we're promoting on the network this week. And that was it.
Swerved.
Yeah, you can binge. This is the first season that they've just released all together that you can binge watch. So,
yeah, if I hadn't already seen all of them, I would have done it, but I'm not going to do all that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Swerve. I'll probably watch the Dean Ambrose episode where he dresses up like preppy. I forgot what
was it, like a tourist type of thing?
Yeah, it looks really funny. But I mean, yeah. You have any final thoughts, Gordon?
Not much, really. I'm just going to do the usual shilling. Remember, guys, I'm on Twitter, Fight Mastin Fight. Well, that last T isn't there because Twitter's a giant jerk and they won't let me do it. You guys already know, subscribe if you're not subscribed for more of the, reviews and stuff on this channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. Caleb, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'll plug my stuff shamelessly. Just as Kevin Owens plugged the network today. But yeah, guys, I'm on Twitter at CC_QB7. I am also, you know what? I think I'm just gonna plug the Twitter, guys. That's it. I'll plug my MySpace too. But
Didn't that sign a couple weeks ago that said Roman still uses MySpace?
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, that's it, guys. But Gordon, as always, it's my pleasure. Guys, as they say, where I'm from, fourth time's the charm. So let's hope this video. I'm feeling this getting the lips 1 million views, Gordon. I really do.
I would hope. I've got 2K on a Lucha Underground live reaction.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, guys, let's see if we can do it. Do it here so he keeps me around. He invites me back more.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Like I said, if you like all that stuff, thank you guys for watching. See ya!